Black engagement. Oh, shout out to CBS. I was just telling everybody how, you should have been here on this live set, bro. But like CBS just gave Toiletries for Families 100 period packs for our back to school dignified drive. Because I've been telling them, like, I need help serving. I lost my job in March. Like, I've been allowing God to be God. I'm so grateful because I've been available to my mama. I can go spend 21 days in the hospital with her and not worry about my job. Like, the lack of stress has been so peaceful in the presence of this constant faith, right? But the guy at CBS, I was like, I don't know if you'd be comfortable with a panel discussion about, sex or periods, but, sometimes there's a reason why she says not tonight. And he was so open to, say how, he would not be opposed to talking about why it's important to be a supportive partner, because it's not always the issue of wellness in the sense of people are scared to get their status and they don't know where to go. Allies and Hope, AIDS Healthcare Foundation, Legacy, Harris Health. There's a place to go. If you don't know your status, you can call me. I'll go with you. I ain't even gonna know your business. I'll just sit with you so you can have some support. But it's so important. It's so vital. We're about to get a new mayor. Please register to vote. Please register to vote. Hell, it's a lot going on. At the same instant, we have so many topics that we talk about on the Daily Smoke because of the fact that we have freedom of speech, because we're not censored, because this is the people's podcast. So it's like, expect to be able to breathe here. Expect to be welcome. Expect to be yourself, because you deserve to come. You deserve to be. You deserve to enjoy your experience. And when you go to thedailysmoke.com, when you click the top button, when you go down to the bottom, the question is, have you ever been experienced? That's the vibe. Like, are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Are you having a good time? Is that your first interview? But like, this is your first time doing it like this, right?
Yes.
He got the Vaseline thing going on. Like, these cheeks is up. Yeah. I love it. But it's sincere. And we're having a great time. Technical difficulties happen. $ TV Smoke, so we can upgrade the programs, the systems, and not have this issue. Or get to a studio so you can come see us live, because I promise you we go hard. But at the same instant, I want to make sure that not only do we continue to navigate how to maintain the communication, word of mouth marketing is the most effective. They have a marketing company. They have drones. I need a sponsor because I want a video. I'm just saying. It costs to be the boss. It also costs to get shit done. And one thing that we need is documentation. The Daily Smoke is making it possible for us to live forever. One day I won't breathe, but I hope that you do deeply. And I hope that the process of you getting to a place of being able to celebrate yourself is something that looks like pride. Because in Houston, where it's the third largest in the nation of celebrations, like the third largest, I want to go for number one. And I know with you, we can make that happen. There's something about knowing that pride is not just for us, right? Like, it's for you too. It is for anybody who wants to applaud the celebration of honoring and paying homage to those who stood up for themselves, who stopped taking shit, and who said it's time to do something different. I'm here for it. At the same instant, how could I go without saying thank you to the People's Podcast, the Daily Smoke? This is the second year that Ron and Los and Bobby and all those that are in the background have said, hey, we got this platform. Let's talk about it. If you have questions, 281-968-1029. Guys, if y'all have any questions, it's completely a thing to ask. Because for one, it's so vital to know the culture, the dependency of your understanding of it, to respect it, the identity of knowing that the crises that's being faced by our people of trans experience is not to be overlooked. Shout out to Ethan Gantz, Houston Pride's non-binary, non-gender conforming Grand Marshal, who has spearheaded a march and rally this evening, right now going on. It'll be over at 8:30 in the Montrose area, because they want to celebrate Pride 365 days a year. And I want you to celebrate yourself. A lot of times I think about the progression of our civil rights and how, Black and brown people look, but they don't always coincide. And it's not because of anything besides conversation and culture. And sometimes there's the idea of our dynamics blending, because like Hello said, you have the best of everything in you. And I have such a view that is so balanced. I'm just like, the way that we tip the scales is by identifying we have differences, yes, but we have commonalities too. And I take pride in knowing that I have access to beautiful people. So I want to know, like, what are your aspirations? What are we doing in the next 6 months? How can I be supportive to you?
We aspire to just keep growing in all aspects, mentally first and foremost. Mental health is a big part. I currently just did go into a little experience with my father. He was having a little bit of difficulty, and we're still trying to get stuff sorted, but, it's a little hard. I was talking about it, but, just putting it out there means that it will get done.
We're manifesting that. Yes. And it will be well. It will be well. Yes. And what are you manifesting, Jim?
Honestly, just to continue to be able to help others. Growing up, sometimes I always felt like I had to just keep going to do for others, but in the end, I ended up realizing that it was kind of going to be happy at the same time, like, so you keep going. I want to be able to help those that can't help themselves. Sometimes just being there, even if you listen.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be able to do.
Yeah. Okay, what about you, Melissa?
I just want to keep serving. I know that in the next 6 months, what it looks like is we've already started planning for another Halloween, our Halloween event. And what that was to begin with was to keep the kids safe. So we made a haunted house. Our students came together and did some brilliant work. We got people to volunteer to be different characters. And, there was that fentanyl pandemic that was happening, and it was very prevalent, and especially in candy. So we got community partners like Cutthroat Barbershop, and we went around and people donated candy, wings and things, or what was it? Wingstop, they donated. And that was such a beautiful experience because nobody had to worry about the candy being unsafe.
Yeah.
Because it was only passed through us.
That's the thing. You gotta trust. You gotta trust where you let your kids go.
Absolutely. And that was the whole thing about it was, and we offered food that night. We gave free food. We gave free haircuts. So we're going to be working on that again. And just the service part, like I everybody, talking about traumas and stuff like that. I grew up in a household where one of my parents, and my mom has changed. She is the most beautiful human that I have ever encountered now. But in those times, she was just a child when she adopted me so graciously. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't imagine raising a child at 20 years old or adopting a child at 20 years old. So there were times whenever she was going through her phases and I had to, my defense mechanism was to be a servant so that I could make sure that I kept her as happy as possible. And what I did is I recycled that. I was in therapy for 5 years and going through it because it started to manifest in my relationships as well. I allowed, things to continue to happen, and it was because of my self-worth, right? But through recycling that energy, now I get to take that servantship and I get to give it to people who need it, and a place where it can thrive in a good way. So recycling those things. I know we have an art show coming up. We're trying to put together an art show with our friend Brian. He's actually a sponsored barber by Chi, Farouk Systems. We want to do an art show. We did a hair color class, and we invited our students, and we were like, the next time, why don't we invite the community to come in so they can see the artistry of barbering, so they can see that barbering is not just cutting hair or this or that, but to invite them in to see how intimate it is, and how you can really just hair is everything. I mean, hair is identity. When I shaved my head bald, I didn't know what to do.
I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Marissa about my mom saying how she wished that they had barbers on site. Mm-hmm. They tell her, the spinal tap didn't confirm or deny anything, so we got to do a brain biopsy. She had to make a decision. Either I see how long I have and don't cut my hair that's long, thick, and beautiful, or you're going to shave my head. They were not mindful of anyone's vanity at all. They took so much, right? And so I tell them about you, and they said that they would be very open to volunteers, and then there is a process to go through getting vetted as a vendor, so you could be commissioned. But my mama and people I saw them, I feel they would pay, because there's just something about your dignity that must be maintained. I mean, my mama had brain surgery. The next day she woke up, she put on makeup.
No, there's when that's all you have, like, or not at the end, but like whenever it comes to people and themselves, like that's why whenever I'm watching my grandma go through that process, it was like she wanted to continue to use the restroom on her own because that was her last.
That was her dignity. Yeah.
And so, like in any circumstances, you don't want to lose that. And you know, I told you about whenever she said that, but just retouching on that, bringing it back to in my brain because so much has happened. We really need to tap into that because that
It's
is.
gonna be so
And
incredible.
it
You have
wouldn't even
no
be about the
idea.
money. Like,
It's
we
not
don't
the
even
money.
know.
It's not the
I'm
money.
talking
You're
about
going
what's
to
out
make
there.
them feel good.
Yes,
Like
yes.
having cancer don't feel fucking good.
Yeah,
Okay, it don't feel good. And then like you tell somebody I have cancer, and they look at you like you're dying. Bitch, you're dying too.
Yeah.
We're all gonna die. You're supposed to enjoy your experience. You're supposed to feel fucking beautiful. I don't mind. I'll cut my hair off too. Like whatever it is that I can be supportive to, who I love and what they go through. But like, it's not about the money.
No, I don't.
But because it's not about the money, you will always have. You will always have. And that's I can touch them. Like I can touch I touch good people. To me it's touch a care. This woman like literally is a active serving member of the US military. Thank you so much for your commitment. I learned from Sarge, the president of Pride's brother, that saying thank you for your service is offensive to veterans. I didn't know that. They've never corrected me. Just like when I called the wrong name at a place, because thanks for even acknowledging I exist. I don't complain. But like, it's okay to correct people. Again, back to the point. The LGBTQIA plus community, especially those of trans experience, are your teachers of how to be. As well as Pastor Juanita with her book, Learning to Be. Because you're either going to know right now, it's time to decide to choose to be and enjoy your experience from here, or you're going to spend some time looking back on the time that you have not been doing it and concern yourself with shit you can't do shit about. But from here, no, the People's Podcast is welcoming you to come sit here and be yourself and have conversation with people who are beautiful and acknowledge that we could be in a corner in a very dark room concerning ourselves with things we have no control over, or we could be saying we're going to be just fine. It's going to be so beautiful. And when I go back and watch this and celebrate that we said this on this day we said this. And we know that from here on out we are continuing. Like Lowe's was just on live the other night talking about how everything we said we were going to do on this show we're doing. Like this is respect. I'm here. You deserve to be here too. Like this is the place you go to say what you want to do. If you have a controversy, if you have an altering fact, if you have an opposing opinion, have some fucking facts. But come, let's debate. Let's have a conversation. You're welcome. There is no reason for anybody to feel like their voice does not matter. I am the word mortician. I will always use what God gave me because I know I'm supposed to. I don't misuse it though. I ain't gonna speak hate or death or ill intent. I do not gossip. But I promise you, I'll be happy to tell you about who I know. If you have a heart of service, sweetheart, and you want to give, check out the Truth Project. Kevin Anderson is the executive director. He recently became the full-time employee where he is imploring the ability to sustain life and peace with people who are affected by HIV, affected by it. The truth is we all are. We know somebody who is living with this, and we know somebody who has been affected by it to a point of feeling ashamed and afraid, and you don't have to. And he has these incredible programs, and he has these incredible artists, and I'm one of the artists who support because I love what they stand for. And we have to get comfortable in our own experience of telling our unapologetic truth. There are so many ways that we can articulate, but I want to acknowledge this young man because you were very impeccable with your words. I invited them earlier, like, we just going to flow today. If you have aspirations, you want to manifest something, say it. And you did that shit with determination because you know the conviction you speak with. There are so many ways that some of us can become so desensitized because we're afraid of asking for what we want. I mean, like, for real, I did not ask for anything in specific when I found out my mom had cancer. For one, it's the fourth time. For two, I don't know what he's doing. I just know what he's doing is going to go the way he wants it to. I want to be submissive to it. Thank you, God, for this experience, this acknowledgement. Let me tell you, the instant you realize that we have already talked about this, right? The instant you understand that this concept of time, this cyclical repeating process, this alignment, this serendipity, this synchronicity of your existence, like you walk past me for a reason. I need you to know, Dex, you're supposed to enjoy your experience. There should be joy in all of it. How do you get that? As a Christian, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. As a person of positivity, I am open to receive and give wellness. I'm open to receive and give love, trust, respect, forgiveness. Like, I open myself to you. In that submission, there's nothing you can do to hurt me because no weapon from against me will prosper. All I know is I like the pointy tips of knives, and I know how to use them. But at the same instant, the tip of my tongue is a sword too, and I know I've learned not to use it when I'm hurt or when I'm scared or afraid. But the trusting process of knowing that God is always in control, y'all. Like, people do not talk about worship. They don't talk about praise. They don't talk about praying. How they face need to be on the floor to supplicate completely. That outcry is necessary. But if you get to a place where you understand that you are not in control, there's nothing in your grip, and you just submit to the process, like just submit to it, you're able to breathe. You're able to listen. You're able to acknowledge that none of it matters. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the conversation, the sound of their voices, the embrace of their love, the echo of their resonance, like literally how their words resonate. You think about your best friend and things that they went through, but today you celebrate they get to be them, and you want that peace and freedom for everybody else. Thank you for your allyship. The fact that you are confident in your manhood to be able to come and say, I'm here, I stand here, and I am not afraid. At the same time, I know my tongue is powerful, and I speak healing over those you love. There is so much that we are able to do from a touch. But I want to affirm with my words the ways in which that we allow ourselves to continue with pride. www.pridehouston365.org. Volunteer. Volunteer when I'm volunteering, so you know you're going to have a great experience. There's going to be enjoyment in that process. The Truth Project, truthprojecthcs.org. Please know it's with service that we allow ourselves to completely serve His, and we are all a part of that process. The Arts Advocate and Towards and Families, those are my babies, and I promise you we do things with dignity and integrity. So anything that I know I put my name behind, I trust, I love, and I would do by myself. And I think that anybody who would attest to any of that, you a hater, dog. Like, all we need is love. This experience has been so beautiful, and I'm not even sorry y'all missed it because we didn't stop flowing. Speaking of flow, July 22nd, East End Backyard Flow at 8 p.m. I have a 30-minute set from 8 to 8:30. That means that is from 7 to 8, me for 30 minutes, and then a social hour with my friends. I want you to know who I know. There's no reason to wait till I pass for you to pass cards.
Right.
I want you to know who I know, because I know some dope folk. I mean, like, I know the plug for love, the plug for healing, the plug for wellness, the plug for safety, the plug for peace. I know the plug for healing. And there's no reason why you don't have any reason to open yourself to the access to it. But if you see this and you know somebody who has just come back home and needs an opportunity, if you see this and you know your baby about to graduate or just did and they're not going to college to succeed, send them to a school that they can. Because there's something beautiful about those who do things with their hands. May they continue to be blessed. Thank you to Me a Touch of Care. Thank you, Megan 832. Go to the Black Buyback Market. Make sure you support those who support you. And make sure that they do support those. Like, I remember pulling up on somebody that I met from a previous job. Her daughter makes waist beads out of crystals. Like, she intentionally sets them for healing and digestion and all these, wonderful magical things. And they're custom made for your size or what have you, right? So I went to go pick up mine that I got for my birthday, and we met at this market, like some like fresh produce market, right on the north side. It was amazing. They had these pretty plants, beautiful flowers. The watermelons were fucking huge for like $15 melon. HEB over here for $6 a pound. Like, it was a $15 melon, and they had to hold it with 2 hands. But like, we just met so many people. I met some representatives of the Texas Brown Berets. Have y'all heard of them? Okay, so the Texas Brown Berets, while they identify with their own, they make sure that they represent all of us. whether we're brown or not, you know, if it's affecting LGBT. And so they were protesting outside the market not to buy produce from Florida because of what they're doing, right? And so they were literally segueing into this month-long protest of boycotting buying produce from Florida because they wanted to make sure that they felt us and our impact with our dollar. And so, like, I mean, that made a thing. Like, what I did was I went on Instacart and I was like, hey, I need some bell peppers and some lemons. Make sure it don't say Florida on the sticker, otherwise I don't want it. Like, I mean, I want to play my role, but at the same instant, it's like, okay, well, as someone who might see this and wonder, how can I be an ally? I was taught that it's not right. How can I be an ally? I was taught this. Learn that your teacher didn't know better. A lot of times people teach what they know. And so that's why people's shoes be tied the way they are. That's why people have shoes that don't have laces. You have to really just like get in where you fit in and understand, like, they're not even teaching cursive anymore. How do you learn how to sign your name? Like, is everything going to be digital and you just tap your signature? Is it going to be your eyeball recognition? Like,
You never show on that.
it,
In the writing.
In my kids, I run the laptop. Dude,
yeah,
it ain't even right.
nothing. And I swear, like, okay, so I did some work for a school this past summer or the past spring, and I was doing the files of the kids going from 8th to 9th grade. Every child whose photo from like 7th or 7th grade or 6th or 7th grade had like cute little round faces. Their previous pictures for the current year, they had on glasses. Because the pandemic, they were right here with it. Y'all need to sue them people. Because they have impaired your children. Like, for real. This TV and tablet teaching shit,
That's a visible.
it's a visible change. Like, people want to talk about who's having a baby with who fucking who bought this. Like, do you understand somebody had their 36-year-old daughter rotting on a couch? And because of a goddamn typo, they got off? And they had a fight to get her back on? Like, they just got indicted, like, maybe, 10 hours ago? Lindsay Fletcher was impaired. She had disabilities. She had a form of Asperger's that affected her ability to socialize. Nobody was looking for the baby. Nobody was looking for her. The coroner said she could have been sitting in her shit for 12 years. She had sores. She had fucking ulcers on her buttocks. Oh my God. I'm telling you, the media really does feed you things to make you eat shit and hate people. Love is the religion I practice. You might want to be mindful of what you partake in, because the ingestion affects the infestation of what you keep taking in. This manifestation is welcoming you to the People's Podcast, where we can talk about how to actually be good, kind, effective, well, and wealthy. I want you to win. And at the same instant, like, if you're so worried about how to come up quick, you're going to stay in a bucket. But for those of you who find your way here, come have a seat with these great people. I would love to talk to you. But I mean, we got Vanessa, we got Ron, we got Lowe's. I want to know who's going to get Bobby on this camera, though. Like, I got this. We can start cool.
If I don't have to do it, he'll be over there.
I'm just saying, you're watching. But I want y'all to know, like, Pride is every day of the week. And that be LGBTQIA plus Pride, plus be Black Pride, be Brown Pride, be Yellow Pride, be White Pride, be Black Pride, be Blue Line and Red Line Pride. Like, thank you to our people in service. Thank you for all those who are doing things that are working. And if you're just not there yet, it's okay. We got time. See y'all next time.